Hey guys, back again. Early morning video, and this is going to be a controversial topic for Lonzo Ball fans slash stands slash whatever the fuck you call yourself or associate with. Um, I've been meaning to do this one for a minute, but I just hadn't got around to it. Lean back, fat Joe. Uh, but let me go ahead and preface this comment by saying I do by no means endorse some of the media talking heads who like to say, he's a 3D player, role player, yada, yada, yada. Um, Let me start off by saying this. Everybody is a role player. Kevin Durant is a role player. LeBron James is a role player. Um, this notion that, role players are lesser players, no. No matter what team you look at, every player on the team, including the superstars, play a role. So they are role players. Uh, but they use that term to try to denigrate Lonzo. He's a fringe starter, yada yada. No, Lonzo is a starter. There's not too many point guards in the league that does all the stuff that he does on the court. Just in general. Even in league history, there's not a bunch of players that can do all the stuff on the court that he can do. He's shooting 36% right now. League average I think is 35. So last year he was at 37. He's a percentage point away. If he has another good game shooting a three like he's had, he'll probably be at where he was last year, if not rising. And that's like considering we still have like 40, 50 games left to play. So the probability he could pop 40, which is what I thought he would hit this year. Anyway, Lonzo playing basically two guard or wing position this year is a really good thing. It's not inherently bad, right? I know a lot of people are upset that he's not the on ball point guard. Like people want him to be like Chris Paul. Let's even if you look back at the Phoenix game, Chris Paul didn't have the ball in his hands the entire fucking time. The ball was in the hands of Book a lot of the times and some of the other guys. So if we're gonna have this conversation about a point guard and what their roles is to a team, you got to understand they're not always going to have the ball in their hands. And then people will be like, well, what about Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, all these other guys? Steph Curry plays off the ball a lot, but sometimes Steph has the ball in his hands. Dame Lillard has the ball in his hands sometimes. Sometimes it's with CJ. Any other point guard or whatever, what have you. A lot of times, even on the best teams, the ball is in the best player's hands more time than not. The only time that's not the case is when your best player isn't a really good ball handler, like Embiid. Then it's in Ben Simmons' hands or something like that. And they get the ball to him and he makes his plays in his positions, which, fairly enough, is kind of what Zion is. Um, Having said that, so we got Lonzo Ball playing off ball. Now, he has a little bit of experience playing Chino Hills with LeVar and stuff. I'm not going to go bore y'all with the history lesson. He also has a little bit from playing with LeBron his second year in LA. His stats dipped that year, too. But, here's the thing, right? So, I play a game called Overwatch. I've even posted a video, yada, yada, yada. There's roles in the game. There's tanking, there's support, and there's DPS. Tank's jobs is basically to eat up damage and make space. Basically clear path for the team so they can get angles and do what they need to do. DPS is your characters to go out there. His basically job is just to hit shit and kill. And your healers are basically self-explanatory. They heal, they provide support, yada yada yada. When you're playing Overwatch, you fit into a role, and each role has a specific job. If you're like, let's say, a healer the entire time, like your entire career of playing Overwatch, you play healer. You know how to do the healer's job. But let's just say you decide one day you want to go play tank. most of the times healers are passive. If you start playing tank, you're going to be passive, right? And it's not going to be very effective for you. You don't know or understand the mindset required to be in that position. So you're going to have to take your L's. You're going to have to lose for a while until you get the experience and learn. You have to be a lot more aggressive. You have to pick your spots, and you just can't run in with your dick out. You gotta pick your locations and pick your battles and when to engage. Now, you have to get experience in that, and then you'll become a much better player. Let's say you decide you want to go back and play healer again. Well, you are already a good healer, but now you have tank experience. So now, especially depending on the specific character you play, how they play, you know better how to execute as a support player because you understand what your tanks want to do better because you were the tank. You had to go out there do the tank's job. You had to act as a tank. So your healing innately becomes better because now your understanding of the game and roles have improved. I'm using this analogy because I want you guys to think about something when it comes to Lonzo. One of the issues people have had with Lonzo is his aggressiveness. If he's playing the two guard, you have to be a lot more aggressive by nature. If we go look at some of the legendary twos from throughout NBA history, MJ, Kobe, AI, Reggie Miller, James Harden now, Tracy McGrady, if you want to include him because he could be a small forward too. These guys are itching. They're trigger happy. They're ready to go. They're ready to fire off and get their shots off and attack you. Lonzo was used to playing the point guard role. He didn't play the other role. This year, he's having to play two guard. So now he's having to think and apply his game. He's having to overwrite point guardism with shoot guardism. Shoot guardism is a whole different set of rules that he has to abide by on the court. There's times when he'll still do point guard stuff, don't get me wrong, but he has to think like a two guard. Okay, what is my job here? I can't be passive as a two guard. I have to be aggressive. I have to attack. I have to get to my spots. I have to do this. And when they kick the ball to me, I have to shoot. So he's learning how to exist as another role on the court. How does that benefit him? So Lonzo recently has started to be more aggressive as the ball handler. It has let him initiate offense more. It has led to him getting easier buckets at the rack. It has led to the defenses having to account for him. He does not get to this point unless he is taken out of his position and placed in another position where he has to change his thinking. See, if you're stuck playing one part your whole life, you'll be an expert at that part, but there's a limit, there's a cap. When you expand, the nature of all your skills enhance. If you would you rather hire a guy who has done one job his entire career, and he's an expert, or a guy who has done multiple jobs within that field their entire career and is an expert? I think I would take the guy who has the greater degree of understanding of the job because, one, he's way more flexible. You can place him anywhere you need to. Let's say if somebody's out sick or whatever, he can cover down and you can do things like that. I'm a person who likes flexibility. But if you just have that one need, then A, he can still fill it. And when it comes to Lonzo, this is good for him because it is forcing him now to take on the mentality of I have to score first. I'll give you guys an example of where the two ideas clashed for him. Okay, a couple nights ago I did the video about the post game against him and can't remember the team now. Was it the Pacers? Yeah, it was the Pacers. And he closed the deal. Well, people were upset that he gave up that ball to Josh Hart. That was a clash between point guardism and shooting guardism, where he's still trying to find that balance because he's only played 19 games at that position. But it's still there because he's been doing it his whole life. He is slowly but surely breaking that down and out of him so that he can be more effective, which is why the KOP, shout outs to him, by the way, has been posting stats all year showing that he's been improving in key categories in the pick and roll and stuff, where guys, certain media pundits were like, oh, there's no way he can do this, and yada, yada, yada. Stan even said Lonzo is a smart player. He's a genius level player. Those kind of guys figure it out. And he even said in the post game for that game that, hey, look, I didn't have to go and get into Lonzo. Lonzo kind of already knew. Which, let me go ahead and say, I said, and I still stand by this, I still say he made the right play to Josh Hart. I still think he made the correct play getting the ball back to Josh Hart. A lot of people, including Stan and Lonzo here, will say otherwise. And I'll down on this hill. I don't think he necessarily needed to take that shot. And I'll say this, and I'll stand by this again. I think, if anything, he should have took a step forward and took the two. That's me. But the thing is, those styles are clashing because the point guard in him, the pass first guy, is still there. And he still is going to pass. But the shooting guard thing, it hesitated him for a minute because it was like, he's like, okay, I need to shoot this, but in his mind, it's like, I need to pass the ball. And the hesitation is what fucked him. That kind of stuff is going to happen when you're trying to unlearn it. But the fact that he understood, okay, my role on this team right now, or this position that I play, is for me to shoot and to score, is what ultimately affected his thinking. The old Lonzo would have been like, I don't know what to do, and he would have just shot an unconfident 3-point ball that had no chance of going in. Now, if you look at the rest of that game, he didn't miss the rest of his other 2 shots or so. The minute he got him, he just took it and ripped it. This is important for his development. I know a lot of people are upset because he's not getting his stats and people want him to get max money. Look, there's different ways to get max money in this league. Even if he don't get the max money on this, there's nothing stopping him from signing a 1 year or 2 and with a player option to opt out and then get his max money. He has different ways to go about getting his bread. The main thing is Lonzo has to continue developing to that player he needs to be. So, with Stan taking him off the ball, it is having a positive effect on Lonzo for the rest of his career. Even if Lonzo is not getting 7, 8, 9 assists for his, career average like we're used to, the tangible effect of having him change his mindset to attack, and he's on the court attacking and getting dribble penetration and not looking for the dump off pass, has been incredible for him. Now, I don't want to put all of this in a microscope under, hey, he's playing shoot guard, so this is what this is. Again, I'm still going to stand by what I said. With a bigger toolbox comes a deeper understanding, a deeper ability to deal with different situations. Understanding how to lay up and how to get into position to make those now changes your mindset, so now that you're able to actually go and perform that task. But to have the aggressive mindset that I need to score anyway, coupled with the fact that, okay, I have the tool. It's one thing when you're thinking, I need to be aggressive, but I don't know how to be aggressive. When I gave you the analogy here in Overwatch of the support player playing tank, there's a level of, I don't know. You have to accept that there's a current limit on where you are in your abilities so that you can be open to expanding. I don't know how to attack. Lonzo went through this his first couple years in the league because it was a different league. I don't know how to do this, which means I don't know what to do. There is a point where a lot of rookies, especially those who aren't as offensively gifted, I don't know how to deal with this. Attackers are a little bit different. When you attack, you're not necessarily I don't know how to attack. It's just like I don't know how to get open, or I don't know how to get in a better position for myself to attack. When really it's like, okay, I need to use my teammates more and have them open up the lanes for me so I can attack. There's a maturity that happens. Lonzo getting the toolbox helps, but remember, in the Lakers, there were moments where he didn't necessarily know how to attack. He was like, what should I do? I haven't been hitting my threes. I don't really have any other go-to moves to get to hit these. I don't want my layup blocked. What do I do? And he would just like hesitate, stand and look, and it's just like, well, shit, I guess I got to shoot. Now, Lonzo can look and survey the field. Okay, this is what we got. Okay, I can knock down my three. If he comes out here, I can get past him. If the defense stays where they're at, I can shoot the mid range. If not, I can go in and attack the rack. And if they come at me late, I can give the dump off to Steven Adams, who can finish, or Zion, who can finish. Yada yada yada. I now got stuff I can work with, coupled with the aggressive mindset. You have to have both. Stan having him off ball is ultimately going to benefit his career. It is going to make him a better player. And it is going to help him to ascend to star level, maybe even superstardom. And we'll see how that goes if he gets traded to the East, or when a lot of these guys, Steph, LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Russ, and these guys start to age out and retire. Which ultimately is going to start happening here in the next couple of years. Within the next 3 years, these guys are not going to have it. And it's going to be Lonzo's class who will ascend into that superstar star role, and they will take over the league. But yeah, people are really going in and upset that he's playing off ball. Look, I want him to play more on ball too, but I want to give you guys the full viewpoint of it. It's not all bad. It's not all bad, because let's put it. Let me give it to you like this. If Lonzo gets to a point where he's averaging 16 points per game this season, let me make that clear for y'all. 16 points per game, and he's not getting like single-digit scoring much anymore. Most of his stuff is between 20 to 12 points within that frame. So he's getting 12 points to 20 points a game, somewhere in there. More than likely, it's probably between 15 and 18. If he's getting that, that means he's an effective scorer. That's consistency. But if he's getting that and he's going to go to a team and play point guard, he still knows how to pass the ball. He's been doing that his whole life. And he can still position himself for rebounds. But Stan is also teaching him too, hey, let's not be turnover happy. Let's reel some of that in and let's make the right play, along with using your passing ability when it's necessary. So he's becoming more cerebral. All of these things on the right team together is going to make him a lethal player. And the whole point of this is I don't want to say you guys are wrong in your perception or how you feel about Lonzo playing off ball or not being the primary ball handler ish. What I want you guys to do is just think about it from a different perspective. Like, okay, even though he's not where I personally would want him, or maybe where he would like to, how is he going to make the best of this situation to better him for the career? That's ultimately what this is about. This is prime development for this guy. I'll even take it a step further. Let's look at Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram real quick. Brandon Ingram is a scorer. He had to get to his point of figuring out where he could score and how to use his body effectively to score in the league. He's done that now. Now the progression for him is how to better utilize his passing, how to position himself for rebounds, and how to defend. Because it's about making the winning plays. He had 4 blocks the other night. Him and Lonzo were exceptional on defense together. He's still missing some passes, but he's better at it. These things are making him a more complete player. He's still only 23. He's still developing. You need this in your scorers for them to become the way that they are. KD didn't have all of that stuff. KD could score when he first came into the league, but he had to learn the same things until it BI. Now, look at what KD is today. KD today would wash KD from what he was from Oklahoma State University, OU, I think. I don't know, whatever. I'm not good with the college. Anyway, or the Texas Longhorns. I don't care, whatever. Anyway, college KD wouldn't stand a chance against this KD. This KD would wash college KD, and it wouldn't even be close. Um, Having said that, this version of Lonzo on that UCLA team a couple years ago, he would have not only wiped De'Aaron Fox, he would have easily. The Bruins may have went undefeated the entire way and won the entire tournament. That's how good Lonzo is now compared to back then. Even with Zion, I don't like Zion doing too much dribble, 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 but he has to do dribble, dribble, dribble to get comfortable with it. I don't. The thing is, I don't want to take it away. I do want to like lessen the workload. So instead of, let's just say if he's normally doing 20, I would maybe want him to be down about 12 a game, and then we can progress him as because he still has to do it. Again, I made a video a while ago saying I don't think you should completely take a player away from doing something. Maybe limit some of it or reduce it, but still allow them to do it because they have to get comfortable with it. Same thing with Zion. Zion is being told you got to play defense. So he's having to figure it out. He can rebound the ball. Now it's like, okay, you play point guard in high school. You got some handles. You got good passing ability. You got to use these tools more. Okay, now I'm drawing a double. My first thought should be attack, attack, attack. My first thought should be analyze what the situation is. I got the double. Somebody is open. The best play for me is not for me to score. Is to get my teammate a good look. So now he's making a pass. Oh, here's Zoe. Zoe hits the shot. Okay, great. Now the defense has to make a decision next time he gets the ball in that situation. Do we double Zion or do we stay on Zoe? If I double Zion, Zoe is still open. And it don't have to be Zoe. It could be B.I., it could be anybody else on the team. Bledsoe, J.J., whatever. If I double Zion, who else is going to be, like somebody's going to be open? Are we okay with that? He just knocked down a shot. Okay, if I don't, Zion now has the one-on-one. Which am I okay with? Zion's one-on-one or leaving them open for the three? We just got punished for the three. Maybe I'm going to stick on Zoe, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show double. Zion, at that point, can now read and manipulate the defense. Okay, if I'm the defense, I'm thinking they're going to show. As soon as I get the ball, I'm attacking. They don't have enough time to come help because he's already attacked the basket. This is a part of the development of the players and developing as a superstar. KD has the right play in his data book now. Okay, like he said, I've seen just about everything you could see. KD could go attack the basket, but hey, if I see a cutting Kyrie, dump off pass. It's all about developing, your overall mindset and skill. But to do that, sometimes you got to play out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you got to be taken away a little bit from what you like to do most to force you to have to adapt. And as you adapt, you grow. I think this is ultimately going to benefit him. I got to say, I think I'm team Chicago now. If they put him on Chicago and he has this mindset next to Zach LaVine, Chicago is coming. They won't win a championship this year because there's too many other good teams in front of them. But LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., because I don't know if he's playing this year, if he's hurt or not. That's if he's still on the team. With Lonzo is a solid core. You got Billy Donovan, who is a solid coach, really good coach, actually, underrated coach. And he'll get the best out of the entire team. He'll get the pieces and put them in the right places. If you get Zach LaVine, Lonzo, and Lauri, them three alone are solid. If you develop Wendell Carter Jr. to be a good three-point shooter, he can space the floor, you got yourself a squad to compete for the next couple years. And here's the thing about it. Lauri and Wendell Carter Jr. are not the alpha dogs. It's Zach LaVine. But Zach LaVine would be the alpha next to Lonzo. Lonzo and Zach would run the team. The other two would follow suit. So if Lonzo says something, Zach is going to be okay listening to it. Lauri and Wendell are going to have to listen. they're going to have to follow suit. This is going to allow Zoe the full range to score, to play make, to pass, and he's going to be able to do it the way he wants to play it, while getting the best out of Laurie, Wendell Carter Jr., and Zach LaVine. I've also said I wanted to see him in Orlando. Like I said, Vucevic the other day dropped 43 and 19. He's a stretch five. Y'all know how I feel about Jonathan Isaac. They still got Aaron Gordon unless they trade him. Markelle Fultz will be back. They got DJ Augustine, if I'm not mistaken, or is it Evan Fournier? I don't know. They might have both. But you got weapons galore that Lonzo could use along with his mentality and the defense and the other intangibles he brings. All of this would ultimately help him. If this was the Lonzo of last year, he wouldn't be as effective. Now, he could help these teams because they would use his passing as a threat, but he wouldn't be a threat offensively. This version of Lonzo now understands the nature of him attacking and the benefit, and it will affect the entire game for everybody else. That's why if you look, his PER and all these other stats, his metrics while he's on and off, are trending sky high. I think it was either Preston, Ollie, or somebody else. They said his plus minus is the highest on the team right now. What that means is when he's on the court, the team is like way better. And when he's off the court, the team is way worse. He doesn't have to have the biggest stats, but he has the biggest impact on winning. And that's ultimately what this is all about. Stan playing him 3 and D off ball is helping him become a more complete player. Again, I'm not saying he needs to be this way his whole career. I'm not saying that he doesn't need to play point guard. What I'm saying is the ability to learn a different position helps him point guard better. Learning how to do someone else's job makes you more effective at your primary job because now you understand on a deeper level. And when you understand on a deeper level comes mastery. I hope y'all have a good day. Peace.